Welcome to the Italian Wine Podcast. I'm Rebecca Lawrence and this is Voices. In this set of interviews, I will be focusing on issues of inclusion, diversity and allyship through intimate conversations with wine industry professionals from all over the globe. If you enjoy listening, please consider donating through ItalianWinePodcast.com. Any amount helps us cover equipment, production and publication costs, and remember to subscribe and rate our show wherever you tune in.
Hi everybody! Italian Wine Podcast celebrates its 4th anniversary this year, and we all love the great content they put out every day. Chin with Italian wine people has become a big part of our day, and the team in Verona needs to feel our love. Producing the show is not easy, folks. Herding all those hosts, getting the interviews, dropping the clubhouse recordings, not to mention editing all the material. Let's give them a tangible fan hug with a contribution to all their costs. Head to ItalianWinePodcast.com and click donate to show your love.
Welcome to the Italian Wine Podcast. This is the Voices series with me, Rebecca Lawrence. This week, I'm excited to be talking to Fanny Breuil. Welcome to the podcast, Fanny.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be with you today.
So I like to start most of these conversations by asking my guest to introduce themselves to our listeners. So maybe you can give us a little bit about who you are and what you're currently working on.
Sure. I'm Fanny Breuil. I'm French. I am from Angers in La Loire. I have always been working with wines. This is actually my background. I have studied agronomy, engineering, and oenology. And first I have worked as a winemaker in France, Italy, and Chile, and then as a salesperson for a wine importer in the United States. And back to France in 2008, I have found my company, Genuine Wines, with a deep willing to help winegrowers located in lesser known region or underestimated region to be more known and to develop their export markets.
So now that you're primarily involved in export, what is it you miss from those initial experiences with winemaking? Because obviously it's very different being based, in a more kind of office environment, being on the phone, emails, to actually being in a vineyard or a winery. So what do you miss about those experiences?
Yeah, this is true. I think what I miss most, this is the harvest time, the vinification. This is very intense time. Also a teamwork. You are in the cellar. You work, of course, every day. The yeast never stop. But there is a team, and you see the construction of the vintage from the grapes to what would become the wine after. But this is really intense and everyday work. Lots of crossroad in decisions and exhausting, but also giving you lots of energy. That's something I think I could miss most. But I think I like people as much as I like wine. So my 2 days work, of course I have emails and phoning, but I also have lots of in-person meetings in a normal year. I mean, outside of COVID, but when you can travel, when you can always learn new culture, new habits, and learning how to stay humble, and also the education part of the work, because I work with lesser known region and native grapes. So you have to explain and to inform and to also sometimes only show the wines, because sometimes it's wines less known. So also only a tasting, the wines can talk by itself. And I really like this too.
I think that this background in enology and agronomy gives you something a little bit extra when you are working in your business now. Is it advantageous to have come from this very direct background working in the vineyards and directly with the wines?
I don't know if it's make me an advantage. I know that for sure it makes me decide. I have created this company. I have created the group, and also my partners, the relationship that I have built. It's thanks to this background, because I have always all the basis is on technical. The way I select the wines, it's because I am aware of the passion the wine growers are showing in their winemaking. And I need it because that's my background. That's what I know for sure. So I need to always go back to the roots, how it's made, how people worked in the vineyards. And since I understand this, I will explore this and use it. Everybody will, we would create a company depending on who they are. And me, this is what made more sense to me. I had to talk, the fundamental had to be the technical aspects.
So you founded Genuine Wines in 2008, so very well established by now. Could you tell us a little bit more about this company, how it works, and the ethos?
Yes, I was back from the United States, where I have worked for a wine importer. It was in Wisconsin. In Wisconsin, I was not able to join a wine production because there were no wine production. So that was my first experience with sales, and I have really enjoyed it. Being part of a team and explaining the wines to the customers, restaurants or wine stores, and organizing tastings. So when I came back to France, I knew I wanted to continue this and to explore more before maybe coming back to the wine production. So I was in Alsace at that time, and I remember that anytime I was answering a wine position as a wine exporter, a salesperson, I didn't really like the wine. So back to my background, the previous question you had, I was not able, I didn't feel I could be able to sell these wines. And when I really liked the wines, the producer were, the domains were too small to hire someone full time. And this was the starting point. How could I do this? How could I be an ambassador for wines that I really like? Only by being a kind of part-time export manager. And it was by talking with wine growers that this project has been able to start. I was at La Stopa talking with Elena Pantaleoni, who I knew very well. I have worked there, and I was explaining this project, and she said, yes, why not? Let's do it. You know my wine. And that has been the start. So I have started with La Stopa wines in Emilia Romagna and Domaine Rollet in the Jura. So under lesser known wine region or underestimated wine region. And I had the feeling I have a lot to say and to show all the wonderful wine it was. And today I have continued little by little. It's not a big group. It remains very small because I think I have this mission to be the ambassador seriously of all the wine growers as if it was them. It's really being part of each team. It's, we work hand in hand. I sometimes do the final tasting when they do the blend. I am involved in the wine production, how they want to do wine. And I share also in return a lot about what's happening on different markets. And the wine importer, they are partners. They come and they visit the winery. So I'm not an in-middle person. I'm more feeling part of each team and together, the wine growers and I, as if I was their salesperson, hired, we developed the export market.
So one of the emphases you have is organic wines, and as you said, these very local grape varieties. Why was it important for you to really put the emphasis on this rather than maybe doing something, quote unquote, easier by working with someone who's maybe a little bit bigger or, less difficult to market, maybe?
Yeah, maybe because I like when it's difficult. So about organic, wine, it's not vital. Well, I mean, yes, today it would be hard to me to have a dinner, good, and having no wine to drink. But in an agronomy vision, we thinking that we will use ground to grow grapes and then to do wine. I think we need to grow grape with as less as possible chemical products to keep the soil alive, to keep the soil, unpolluted. I have my agronomy, major was, about, chemical treatment, how to unpollute. I don't know how we say it in English, but we take care of pollution. So I have always been aware of organic wines, and also because I like organic wines when I taste them, or organic or biodynamic wines or natural wines. And, it was natural for me to go on this, direction. I don't belong to any church neither. So not all wine growers, were organic certified when I started, but they all have a willing to work with less chemical product as possible. And today, yes, all of the wine growers I am working with have started to transform the wineries into organic production. And regarding as for native grapes, I think it's because I like artisans. I like handcraft. I don't like standardization. I like, when it's different, when it has an original taste, and native grape will bring us different taste right away because it has a different DNA, different expression. So it's interesting. And also it changed. So, doing something, I don't like mainstream. I wanted to do something different. And what could I bring to wines that are always known? Nothing. I think I can bring only by showing something new, something unknown or less known. So this is because I need to feel useful also maybe.
So speaking of new, actually, in addition to exporting wine, you have returned to the production of it with the founding of Labadens. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. So this is a project that you've described as a project of friendship. So maybe you can tell our listeners a little bit about it and the kinds of wine you're producing.
Yes, Labadens, it's a small project, but it's lots of fun. Well, it was fun for starting too. Well, it's back to 2009-10. I was in the Rhone Valley. I was visiting a friend of mine, Thomas, classmate. We are very close friends, he and his family. And I was building the portfolio, and I was thinking to work with wineries from the Rhone. And Thomas, he is a consultant for organic producers. So naturally, he was helping me meeting producers. And at the end of every end of day, we have dinner, tasting wines, of course, solving the world's problem. You know, this is a very French thing. And I think at the end of the 3 days of the small week, I don't remember, we were even talking about our ideal wines, and we were trying blends, and that has been the start of it as something very. Thomas had already made wine for the vintage, the birth of our kids. He has kids from 2005 and 2007, and me too. And for the 2005, we had a cuvée to share with all the friends. He was already on this idea to explore the wine production. And I think I had just started the sales, and I was missing more than today even was missing the wine production. So it has been quite naturally that we have started our own cuvée from Ventoux. Again, Ventoux is an underestimated wine region. I think less and less, and this is great, but back to 2009 and 10, it was really the wine known for bad quality, little price. But we have very serious, great terroir, great possibility, great potential. So we have focused on a very precise terroir, more on the hilly, more on the terraces, altitude, and working with Grenache, Carignan, some Mourvèdre. And it has worked. Well, we have found people who liked it. It remains very small. And then quite naturally, Thomas was in love with the Clairette, and he wanted to do a white wine from Clairette. So we named our Vaqueras White after his name, Thomas. And little by little, we have increased the range. Today we have 7 wines from Clairette, which is not so well known, but can do fantastic wines. There is no high acidity, but it remains very balanced, very elegant. It's matured. It's a late harvest, so it works very well with this stony and warm region. We have also Châteauneuf-du-Pape or Vin de France. So we have a range from different expression of wines we can have from this region, Ventoux and Vaqueras.
I love that you've managed to keep all of the things that you love kind of together, being an ambassador for other people's wines, but also continuing to make and experiment with wines yourself. It seems like the best of both worlds to me.
Yeah, well, I think nothing has never been planned in my life, but it's always meeting and passion. I have the feeling I live my dream and I do what I like. And then it's like a puzzle. When I look back, it seems that I am building a bigger puzzle every day, but still working with passions and I feel happy with this.
So speaking of passion, you talked already a little bit about working with La Stoppa. Is this where your passion for Italian wine started, or did it come before that?
Alors, when I went to La Stoppa, it was in 2000. I was validated my last internship for the oenology diploma. So I had already the wine passion before that. I have done an internship in La Loire with Olivier Cousin, also passionate winegrowers. But at La Stoppa, I have met two people, Elena Pantaleoni and Jura and Emilia, who really, they are people I hold in high esteem and to whom I owe a lot. They are really wine enthusiasts. They know wine. They know wine, natural wine, because this is wine that they do. But even more than that, I remember during the time there, we were tasting wines from everywhere. Italy, of course, but France and Germany and Chile and Australia. We were always tasting wines for lunch, one glass, and talking about it, Slovenian wines. So it really, especially for me, back to in 2000, as a French person, this was a door open to the wine world. And this, I have been very lucky. I met them. And also their approach, they always wonder, is this the right way to do? Or, and this feeling, this approach has always been great to me. Julia Armani, for instance, when I have done what became later the future Ageno, back in 2001, it was not Ageno, it was just trials, but making a white wine with skin contact. I was just a fresh enologist from France, so white wine, macerating white wine was really uncommon. And I remember asking him, what are we doing? Why do I do pumping over every day? Because I was at the winery when the harvest arrived. We had to steam it, to crush, to put in vat, and then doing pumping over in the morning. I say, well, what are we doing? and I will always remember this sentence. He told me, who said that we have to do a white wine this way and a red wine this way? Of course, I have no answers to this question. It's an open question. And also, all winegrowers, I think, all of them, they are always experimenting. They love it. They have one moment of the year to experiment. This is harvest time. And there is always in the cellar, a vat, a barrel, something hidden. But they experiment, they try, and this is really great when they let you know more about their experience. So yes, a great experience at La Stoppa.
So you have recently participated in the Vinitaly International Academy program here, becoming an ambassador, so continuing your Italian wine journey. So in order to kind of close our conversation today, I wanted to ask, what's next for you, and maybe what's next for you and your journey in Italian wine?
So, this program, Vinitaly Academy, this has been fantastic, a fantastic journey in native grapes, and very deep, very intense, very solid. education program. So today, continuing my journey, I have a small Italian wine importation in France. So I have already started back to Verona to share all the knowledge I have learned with my customers and being more precise about the grapes, about the region, the terroir, and that's fantastic to be able to share with them. And then continuing learning. I think this has been the start. It was the first time I was back to school, we can say, back after 20 years. And I think I want to continue learning always. Well, you learn every day when you work with wine, I think, by listening to winegrowers, but continuing learning more about this great country, all the native grapes from Italy, all the terroir, the microclimate. It will be a long journey. And then also the other country. Why not?
Fanny, thank you so much for joining me on the Italian Wine Podcast today. Where can our listeners find you and what you're doing online or on social media?
So you can find me on Instagram mainly with Genuine Wines or with Fanny Breuil.
Thank you so much for this great conversation.
Thank you very much. It has been a great pleasure for me to be with you today. Thank you.
Thank you to everyone for listening. Don't forget to follow us on social media, subscribe, and of course donate on the website to make sure we can keep these great conversations flowing.
Listen to the Italian Wine Podcast wherever you get your podcasts. We're on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Himalaya FM, and more. Don't forget to subscribe and rate the show. If you enjoy listening, please consider donating through ItalianWinePodcast.com. Any amount helps cover equipment, production, and publication costs. Until next time, cin cin.